Fear is a powerful force, isn't it? It creeps in quietly, often disguised as caution or concern, wrapping itself around our hearts and minds like a thick fog. It whispers in our ears, telling us to stay small, to stay silent, to conform. But let's take a moment to reflect on what fear really is. A tool, a weapon wielded by those who wish to control us. Wars are fought in its name, hatred is bred through its insidious influence, and segregation is justified by the very fear that keeps us apart. Look around. Everywhere you turn, fear is at work. It thrives in the shadows, feeding on our insecurities and our differences. It tells us we should be wary of others, that we should build walls instead of bridges. It convinces us that our worth is tied to our affiliations, our beliefs, our skin color. It thrives on discrimination, on the notion that some lives are more valuable than others. It tells us that hunger is a consequence of laziness, that those who suffer do so because they deserve it. And let's not forget the role of religion, often wielded as a shield or a sword, depending on who's holding it. Fear of the unknown, fear of the other, fear of damnation. These are the chains that bind us. They keep us from seeing the beauty in our differences, the strength in our diversity. Instead of celebrating the tapestry of humanity, fear urges us to retreat into our corners, to cling to the familiar, to demonize those who are not like us. Television stations, social media platforms, they're not just sources of news or entertainment. They're battlegrounds where fear is weaponized. They amplify our anxieties, feeding us a steady diet of division and despair. They thrive on sensationalism, presenting a distorted reality that keeps us glued to our screens, our hearts racing, our minds clouded. We become passive consumers of fear, absorbing it until it seeps into our very bones. But what if we chose to resist? What if we decided that fear would not dictate our lives? The first step is awareness. Recognize when fear is at play, when it's trying to pull you into its dark embrace. Understand that it is a manipulation, a tactic used to keep us in line, to keep us from questioning the status quo. When we see fear for what it is, we can begin to dismantle its power over us. Imagine a world where we refuse to let fear dictate our actions, a world where we open our senses, where we allow ourselves to feel the warmth of connection instead of the chill of isolation. We can be free, free to love, to empathize, to understand. We can shine brightly, illuminating the paths of others, breaking down the walls that fear has built. It's time to reclaim our narratives. Instead of allowing fear to write our stories, let's take up the pen ourselves. Let's tell tales of courage, of unity, of hope. Let's celebrate the richness of our shared humanity, the vibrancy of our differences. We have the power to change the narrative, to create a new reality where fear no longer holds sway. It begins with each of us, with a conscious choice to reject the manipulation, to stand up against the forces that seek to divide us. We can choose love over hate, understanding over ignorance, connection over separation. So, I urge you, don't let fear in your heart or mind. Stay cautious, yes, but also stay aware. Recognize the chains that bind you and the shadows that loom. And when you do, remember that you have the power to step into the light, to shine your own unique brilliance into the world. After all, we are not meant to live in fear. We are meant to thrive in freedom.